Silence is how you win without a fight. There comes a point in your journey where you must understand that silence is not weakness. It's wisdom dressed in peace. The loudest voice in the room is not always the strongest. The calmest soul often carries the deepest strength. You don't always have to respond to every critic, clap back at every insult, or prove yourself in every argument. Sometimes your silence is the proof. Sometimes your restraint is the revelation that you've outgrown the noise. Silence is not about running away. It's about rising above. When you stop arguing with people who are committed to misunderstanding you, you free yourself to grow in peace. You can't heal in an atmosphere of chaos. You can't hear divine direction when you're surrounded by confusion. Silence creates space for clarity. There are moments in life when the battle isn't physical. It's emotional, mental, and spiritual. You may be tempted to fight back, to shout, to prove, to defend. But real power is when you could fight and you choose not to. That's how you win without a fight. Every time you refuse to react, you protect your peace. Every time you stay quiet when chaos calls your name, you show that you've learned to master your emotions instead of being mastered by them. People who live in noise want to drag you into their storm. You've learned to remain the calm. Silence isn't the absence of power. It's the control of it. It's knowing that your energy is too precious to waste on battles beneath your purpose. You don't need to defend what's already destined. You don't need to argue when your actions speak louder than words. Let your growth make the noise. Let your peace be your defense. There's a time to speak and a time to stay silent. Wisdom knows the difference. Silence doesn't mean you're ignoring what's happening. It means you're choosing not to let it define you. You're letting peace lead where pride used to live. You're walking away, not because you're weak, because you're wise enough to know that peace is worth more than being right. And when you stay silent, beautiful happens. You give space for truth to reveal itself. You let time expose what words never could. You allow God, the universe, destiny, whatever you call it, to fight the battle for you. So today, stop trying to win arguments that don't matter. Stop defending yourself to people who don't care. Stop wasting your breath explaining your vision to those who don't have your sight. You don't have to shout your worth when you already know it. You don't have to fight every battle. Some are meant to be won by walking away. There will come a time in your life when you realize that silence is not the absence of power. It is the full expression of it. Silence is not retreat. It is not surrender. It is not weakness. Silence is the loudest statement you can ever make when words would only make things worse. In a world where everyone wants to speak, where everyone wants to prove, where everyone wants to be heard, it takes a rare kind of strength to stay silent. It takes power to stay calm when everything inside of you wants to shout. It takes discipline to withhold words when your emotions beg for release. You see, weak people react, strong people respond, and sometimes the strongest response is no response at all. Silence is not the language of defeat. It's the language of maturity. It is a weapon of wisdom. It is the mark of someone who has learned that not every battle deserves to be fought. Not every insult deserves an answer. There are moments when silence will protect you more than words ever could. There are situations where speaking will only feed the fire, but silence will extinguish it. When you hold your peace, you hold your power. When you keep quiet, you keep control. When you refuse to engage in foolishness, you rise above it. Silence teaches you to listen, not just to others, but to yourself. It allows you to hear your own thoughts clearly. It creates space for divine wisdom to enter. When you are always talking, you cannot hear what life is trying to teach you. But when you become still, when you quiet your mind and your mouth, understanding begins to rise within you. Sometimes silence is the only way to win battles that cannot be fought with words. Some arguments are traps. Some conflicts are distractions. Some provocations are designed to pull you off your path. You must learn to discern when to speak and when to stay still. Silence is not the absence of emotion. It is the control of it. It's knowing you could say something, you could retaliate, you could prove your point. but you choose peace instead. The person who can stay calm in the storm, who can remain centered in the chaos, who can keep a dignity when others lose theirs, that person is powerful beyond measure. It's easy to raise your voice. It's easy to argue. It's easy to lash out when you're hurt. But silence requires strength because silence requires trust. Trust that truth will reveal itself in time. Trust that your character will speak for you. Trust that your peace is more valuable than your pride. You don't have to explain yourself to everyone. You don't have to respond to every rumor. You don't have to defend yourself against every lie. Time will always expose what words cannot. The truth doesn't need a microphone. It just needs patience. And silence gives it space to work. There are times when silence will hurt because staying quiet when you want to speak can feel like swallowing fire. The fire that burns inside of you in that moment is the fire of transformation. It's refining your spirit. It's strengthening your will. It's teaching you that control over your tongue is control over your destiny. When you learn to be silent, you learn to be wise. When you learn to be silent, you learn to be strategic. Because not every truth is meant to be spoken aloud. Some things must grow in silence. Some visions must be protected in quiet. Some battles are meant to be fought in prayer, not in argument. Silence gives you time to think before you act. It prevents you from saying something you'll regret later. It allows emotions to settle so your actions can come from a place of clarity rather than chaos. Silence gives you back your power when life tries to take it. The world often confuses noise with strength. People think that the loudest person in the room is the most powerful. But the truth is, real power doesn't shout. It speaks softly and moves firmly. A lion doesn't roar at every sound it hears. It stays quiet until it's time to act. Strength is silent. Wisdom is calm. Confidence is composed. You carry real peace inside of you. You don't need to prove it outside of you. You can walk through storms and not be shaken because silence becomes your shelter. You can be surrounded by chaos and not lose your focus because you've learned that energy is precious and silence protects it. When you stop reacting, you start receiving. When you stop arguing, you start aligning. When you stop trying to prove your worth, you begin to live in it. That is what silence does. It shifts your focus from noise to purpose. People who misunderstand your silence may think you don't care. They may think you're weak. But silence isn't apathy, it's awareness. It's the realization that some people are not worth your energy and some moments are not worth your peace. You know who you are. You know where you're going. And you know that noise can't go where purpose is leading you. When you embrace silence, you begin to see differently. You stop reacting to what's temporary and start investing in what's eternal. You stop needing to win every argument. You start focusing on winning your destiny. You stop chasing validation and you start cultivating peace. Let them talk. Let them doubt. Let them misunderstand. Your silence will tell them more about your strength than your words ever could. Because silence is not the absence of a voice. It's the presence of peace. It's not that you have nothing to say. It's that you've learned not everything needs to be said. Silence is when you let your growth speak. Silence is when your actions do the talking. Silence is when you step back and let life show the truth. The longer you remain still, the clearer things become. The noise fades, the truth rises. And you realize you didn't lose anything by staying silent. You gained everything that truly matters: peace, clarity, wisdom, and strength. So the next time someone tries to pull you into a fight, remember, you don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. The next time someone disrespects you, remember, silence is not weakness, it's mastery. The next time you feel the urge to prove yourself, remember, your peace is proof enough, because silence doesn't mean you're powerless. It means you're powerful enough to choose peace over pride, understanding over ego, and purpose over noise. There comes a moment in life when you must decide what truly matters: being right or being at peace. There is a kind of peace that only comes when you stop trying to prove yourself to people who were never meant to understand you. There is freedom in realizing that your value does not depend on their validation and your worth does not require their approval. You see, many people spend their lives trying to convince others of who they are, chasing recognition, defending their name, proving their worth, explaining their intentions. But you can lose yourself trying to convince people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You can waste your strength trying to prove what time will eventually reveal. Peace is more powerful than proving. Peace is knowing who you are, even when others don't. Peace is walking away from the noise and choosing silence over struggle. Peace is realizing that you don't need to fight for a seat at a table when you can build your own. The need to prove yourself is a heavy burden. It keeps you stuck in cycles of over-explanation, overthinking, and overreacting. It drains your energy, steals your focus, and distracts you from your destiny. Peace liberates you. Peace releases you from the opinions of others and anchors you in the truth of who you are. When you have peace within, you don't chase validation from without. You don't beg for people to see your heart. You don't need to correct every rumor or answer every question. You realize that time, consistency, and character will speak louder than any explanation ever could. Choosing peace doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care more about your growth than your image. It means you care more about your purpose than your pride. It means you've matured enough to understand that the loudest voice doesn't always win. Sometimes the quietest soul walks away with the real victory. You don't have to prove your loyalty to those who doubt you. You don't have to prove your strength to those who expect you to break. You don't have to prove your worth to those who cannot see it. Some people will never recognize your value until your absence reveals it. That's why peace is greater than proving. Because peace allows you to walk away, while proving keeps you trapped. When you stop proving, you stop performing. You stop wearing masks to fit expectations. You stop shrinking yourself to earn acceptance. You stop wasting your words trying to explain your calling to people who can't hear your frequency. Not everyone will understand your purpose, and that's okay. It wasn't meant for them. Peace is not found in explaining. Peace is found in trusting. Trusting that what's meant for you cannot be taken by misunderstanding. Trusting that your destiny doesn't need everyone's agreement to unfold. Trusting that your light doesn't need to be defended. It just needs to keep shining. Every time you choose peace, you choose power. Because power doesn't come from proving, it comes from presence, being so grounded in who you are that no opinion can shake you. When your heart is at peace, insult can reach you, no rumor can move you, no rejection can define you. Let them talk. Let them assume, let them misunderstand. You don't owe everyone an explanation. Your life is not a courtroom and you are not on trial. The truth doesn't need defending when it lives inside you. Your peace is your evidence. There is a deep calm that comes when you stop chasing people who walked away and stop explaining yourself to those who aren't listening. When you stop proving, you create space for healing. When you stop defending, you create room for growth. When you stop trying to be understood, you begin to understand yourself. Some of you are losing your peace because you keep trying to prove your heart to people who don't have the eyes to see it. You're exhausting yourself trying to fix perceptions that were never yours to control. Let it go. Their misunderstanding is not your responsibility. Your only responsibility is to protect your peace and guard your energy. Peace is not passive. Peace is powerful. Peace is the decision to preserve your inner world no matter what's happening in the outer one. It's saying, I could respond. I won't. I could argue, but I choose not to. I could prove myself, but I'd rather have peace. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. That's not retreat. That's mastery. When you make peace your priority, you'll start to see life differently. You'll stop being reactive and start being reflective. You'll stop being controlled by opinions and start being guided by purpose. You'll stop explaining yourself to small minds and start expanding yourself into bigger dreams. You'll realize that not everyone deserves access to your truth. Not everyone deserves to know your story. Not everyone deserves a response. Peace will teach you that silence can speak louder than words. That walking away can be louder than defending yourself. That calmness can be stronger than shouting. There's a quiet confidence that comes when you no longer need to prove who you are. When you walk in peace, your presence will speak for itself. You won't have to chase attention. Peace will draw it. You won't have to demand respect. Peace will command it. You won't have to explain your calling. Peace will reveal it through your consistency. Peace doesn't mean you're detached. It means you're discerning. I challenge you've learned the difference between fighting to be understood and living to be aligned. It means you've learned to choose your battles. And sometimes the greatest victory is walking away with your peace still intact. The moment you stop proving yourself is the moment you reclaim your freedom. You stop living for applause and start living for alignment. You stop performing for validation and start creating from authenticity. You stop being reactive and start being intentional. Peace will elevate you. Peace will protect you. Peace will promote you in ways proving never could. Because while you're busy explaining, peace is working in silence. While you're trying to prove, peace is opening doors. While you're arguing for recognition, peace is preparing your next season. So today, make a decision, choose peace over proving. Let go of the urge to explain yourself to people who can't comprehend your journey. Let go of the need to be seen, heard, or justified. You are already enough. You don't have to prove it. You just have to live it. And when you walk in peace, you no longer need to fight for validation. You become the validation. You no longer chase approval. You embody confidence. You no longer strive to prove, because peace has already proven that you've grown beyond the need to. Growth doesn't always happen in the spotlight. Real growth happens in silence, in the still moments, in the hidden seasons, in the quiet corners of your life where no one's watching, no one's clapping, and no one even knows what you're fighting through. Growth requires quiet. You see, we live in a noisy world. Everyone wants to be seen. Everyone wants to be heard. Everyone wants to post, prove, perform. But the truth is, not everything that grows makes noise. The most powerful transformations happen in silence. The seed doesn't shout while it's breaking open underground. The butterfly doesn't make a sound when it's transforming inside the cocoon. The tree doesn't announce every inch it grows. It just rises quietly, consistently, faithfully, and that's how you must grow, quietly, patiently, deeply, because growth is not for show, it's for strength. Quiet seasons are not punishment, they are preparation. They are where your roots deepen, your spirit strengthens, and your purpose becomes clear. When you're in a quiet season, it can feel lonely. It can feel like life forgot about you. You look around and others seem to be moving faster, shining brighter, doing more, but don't let that fool you. Just because you're not being seen doesn't mean you're not being shaped. Just because you're not visible doesn't mean you're not valuable. Some of the most meaningful progress happens where no one can see it. Growth requires separation. You cannot evolve while you're surrounded by noise. You cannot heal in the same environment that hurts you. You cannot hear your inner voice when you're constantly tuned to the world's frequency. You need quiet to realign, to reset, to rebuild. Quiet teaches you what applause can. It teaches you how to depend on purpose rather than popularity. It teaches you how to move from validation to vision. It teaches you to be strong when no one is cheering, to be faithful when no one is watching, and to keep going when no one is clapping. Some of you are in a season of silence right now where doors are closed, people are distant, and progress feels invisible. But don't despise that season. That's the soil where greatness grows. You're not being buried, you're being planted. Anything planted must first go through darkness before it reaches light. The world sees success and calls it greatness. But real greatness begins in private. Real greatness begins when you're still. Real greatness begins when you stop chasing and start cultivating. The quiet space is where clarity forms. It's where vision becomes sharper. It's where discipline replaces distraction. When you embrace quiet, you begin to hear the truth about who you are and who you're becoming. You start to see that the noise of the world was only keeping you from noticing your own strength. You start to realize that peace is not found in the crowd. It's found in the calm. Growth requires patience, and patience grows best in silence. The seed doesn't complain underground, doesn't beg for light before its time. It stays still, trusting the process, because in the quiet, something sacred is happening. Roots are forming. Deeper the roots, the stronger the rise. That's what the quiet does for you. It builds your roots. It anchors your soul. It strengthens your foundation. Because when the noise of life returns, when success calls, when pressure builds, when storms come, you'll need those roots to stand. The quiet is not wasted time, it's sacred time. It's the space where you learn how to sit with yourself, how to heal your wounds, how to discipline your thoughts, and how to align your emotions. It's where you stop pretending and start becoming. You may feel hidden right now, but hidden doesn't mean forgotten. Hidden means protected. Hidden means preserved. Hidden means God, destiny, or the universe, whatever you believe, is still working on you, because some blessings are too delicate to be exposed too soon. Callings are too precious to be handled carelessly. Some destinies must be developed in private before they can be displayed in public. Growth requires quiet because quiet reveals truth, and truth brings transformation. You cannot transform in chaos. You cannot evolve when everyone's talking, everyone's pulling, everyone's watching. You need silence to hear the whispers of wisdom. You need solitude to meet your authentic self. In quiet seasons, you learn who your real friends are. You discover who supports you when there's no spotlight. You find out what truly matters when the noise fades away. And most importantly, you find peace. The kind of peace that doesn't depend on circumstances, but lives inside your soul. Sometimes the greatest thing you can do for your growth is to step back, unplug, go silent, stop explaining, stop announcing, stop needing everyone to understand. Just work in silence, heal in silence, build in silence. Let your results speak for themselves. Because noise is temporary, but transformation is eternal. The world celebrates noise, but heaven, destiny, celebrates growth. Every flower that blooms did its growing in private. Every tree that stands tall was once silent underground. Every masterpiece was once a blank canvas in the quiet of creation. When you come out of the quiet, you'll speak differently. You'll walk differently. You'll carry yourself differently. Because what was built in private will shine in public. What was strengthened in silence will withstand the storm. What was nurtured in stillness will flourish in time. Growth is not always loud. Sometimes it's tears that no one sees. Sometimes it's prayers whispered in the dark. Sometimes it's late nights of reflection, early mornings of discipline, unseen acts of courage. But that's where transformation happens, quietly, faithfully, beautifully. So if you find yourself in a season of silence, don't fear it, don't fight it, don't rush it. Honor it. Because the quiet isn't empty. It's full of unseen miracles. It's full of hidden growth. It's full of the foundation for your next chapter. Stop looking for noise to validate your progress. Stop waiting for applause to confirm your growth. You're not meant to grow for attention. You're meant to grow for purpose, and purpose always requires privacy before it shines publicly. Growth requires quiet. It's not glamorous. It's not loud, but it's real. And one day, when the noise returns and the world begins to notice, you'll realize that the quiet season was the most powerful season of all. One of the greatest victories you will ever experience in life is not over people, over circumstances, but over yourself. The real battlefield is not out there. It's in here, inside your heart, inside your mind, inside your emotions. Because until you master your emotions, you will always be at the mercy of whatever happens around you. Control over emotion is not suppression. It's strength. It's not pretending that you don't feel. It's choosing what you do with what you feel. It's not about being cold or detached. It's about being wise enough to know that every emotion doesn't deserve an action. Every feeling doesn't deserve a reaction. Every trigger doesn't deserve your energy. You see, emotion is powerful. It can lift you or it can destroy you. It can guide you toward purpose or it can drive you into chaos. Uncontrolled emotion has ruined relationships, wrecked careers, and destroyed peace. Emotion under control, that's power. That's maturity. That's mastery. When you learn to control your emotions, you learn to protect your destiny. Because destiny demands discipline. It demands patience, clarity, and self-awareness. And you can't walk in any of those when your emotions are running wild. The truth is, emotions are temporary, but their consequences can be permanent. One moment of anger can undo years of progress. One reaction born from hurt can destroy something that took a lifetime to build. That's why emotional control is not optional. It's essential. You have to learn to pause before you speak, to breathe before you react, to think before you respond. Because the person who can master that moment, that split second between feeling and reaction, is the one who truly walks in power. There will be times when people push your buttons intentionally. They'll test your patience, disrespect your boundaries, misunderstand your heart. In those moments, your emotions will rise up, ready to defend, ready to prove, ready to fight. That's when you must remember, not every battle deserves your presence, and not every provocation deserves your peace. Control is not weakness. It's wisdom. It's choosing to protect your peace instead of proving your point. It's knowing when to walk away instead of staying to argue. It's realizing that silence is not surrender, it's strategy. You don't have to react to everything that tries to get a reaction out of you. You don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. Some things don't need your response. They need your restraint. Your emotions are signals, not instructions. They tell you something, but they don't have to control you. Anger tells you something needs to be addressed. Sadness tells you something matters deeply. Fear tells you something feels uncertain, but none of those emotions are meant to be your master. You are meant to feel them, not be led by them. If you always live by how you feel, your life will become a roller coaster of instability because emotions change constantly. One moment you're motivated, the next you're tired. One moment you're confident, the next you're doubting everything. That's why you can't base your decisions on temporary emotions. You must be led by principles, not feelings. Emotional maturity means you can feel deeply but respond wisely. It means you can acknowledge your pain without letting it poison your actions. It means you can face rejection without losing self-respect. It means you can feel anger without turning it into destruction. When you control your emotions, you protect your energy, you keep your mind clear, you give yourself space to choose wisely. You stop wasting time fighting battles that don't matter and start focusing on what truly does. Sometimes control looks like walking away. Sometimes it looks like saying nothing. Sometimes it looks like taking a deep breath and letting time reveal what your words could never fix. People may mistake your calm for weakness. They may think you don't care, but calmness is not the absence of feeling. It's the presence of mastery. It's knowing that peace is more powerful than reaction. It's realizing that maturity isn't measured by how loud you can respond, by how gracefully you can remain composed. You can't lead with clarity if you're ruled by chaos. You can't build consistently if you're driven by every emotional wave. You can't make wise choices if your mood controls your movement. Control over emotion is what separates the impulsive from the impactful, the reactive from the responsible, the temporary from the timeless. Life will test your emotional control again and again. People will hurt you. Opportunities will challenge you. Seasons will shift unexpectedly. When you've built strength on the inside, when you've learned to control your responses, no external storm can destroy your internal peace. That's why discipline over emotion is not just about behavior, it's about identity. It's about becoming the kind of person who is no longer moved by everything that moves around them. You stop living in reaction to the world. You start responding from wisdom within. Emotional control also means knowing when to express what you feel and how. It's not about bottling things up until you explode. It's about releasing them in healthy ways through reflection, prayer, journaling, trusted conversation, rather than through impulsive reactions. Control over emotion gives you power over your narrative. It allows you to stay steady when life gets shaky. It helps you navigate relationships with grace. It keeps you focused on your mission instead of distracted by drama. When you master your emotions, you master your peace. When you master your peace, you master your focus. And when you master your focus, you master your destiny. That's why emotional control is not just a skill, it's a shield. Guards your mind from overthinking, your heart from overreacting, and your life from unnecessary battles. Think about it. A river that flows freely can be chaotic, unpredictable, and destructive. But when that same river is controlled, becomes powerful enough to generate energy, sustain life, and shape landscapes, that's what controlled emotion does. It turns chaos into power, pain into wisdom, and reaction into direction. So the next time life triggers you, pause. The next time someone tries to provoke you, breathe. The next time your emotions rise up, remember, you are not your feelings. You are the force that decides what to do with them. You don't have to respond to anger with anger. You don't have to meet disrespect with disrespect. You don't have to let temporary emotion make a permanent decision. You are stronger than that. You are wiser than that. You are bigger than that. Control over emotion doesn't make you less human. It makes you more powerful. It means you've learned to lead yourself before you try to lead anyone else. It means you've learned to choose peace over pride, wisdom over impulse, destiny over drama. So don't let your emotions control your story. Write your story through discipline. Don't let your feelings dictate your future. Let wisdom direct it. Because in the end, true strength is not in how loud you can react, but in how calmly you can respond. And when you learn to control your emotions, you discover that peace isn't something you find, it's something you choose. Every time there comes as a point in life when you realize that words are cheap, actions are costly. Words can be spoken without thought, but actions require commitment. Words can promise, but actions prove. Words can inspire, actions transform. Anyone can talk about change. Anyone can talk about growth. Anyone can talk about faith, vision, or purpose. Talk alone won't build a life. Talk alone won't change your circumstances. Talk alone won't fulfill destiny. Because destiny doesn't respond to what you say, it responds to what you do. Actions speak louder than words isn't just a saying. It's a principle of life. It's a law of authenticity. Because talkers impress for a moment, but doers influence for a lifetime. The world doesn't need more talk. It needs more examples. It needs people who don't just declare what they believe, demonstrate it through the consistency of their walk. You see, it's easy to say you're strong until life tests your patience. It's easy to say you forgive until you're betrayed. It's easy to say you're humble until your pride is challenged. It's easy to say you trust until the outcome is uncertain. Words are easy, actions are evidence. Your actions are your truth. They reveal what you value, what you believe, and who you are when no one's watching. Words can lie, but actions can't. You can say you want peace, but if you keep engaging in drama, your actions tell a different story. You can say you're focused, but if you keep wasting time on distractions, your actions reveal the truth. You can say you're ready for change, but if you keep repeating the same habits, your actions will expose your comfort more than your desire. People may doubt your words, but they will always believe your actions. You don't need to convince anyone of your worth. Just live it. You don't need to announce every move. Just make it. You don't need to broadcast your intentions. Just build quietly until your results speak for you. The problem with many people is that they fall in love with the sound of their own potential. They talk about what they're going to do, what they're planning to do, what they hope to do, but they never move. They never act. They never execute. Potential without action is wasted purpose. Dreams without discipline are nothing but fantasies. Vision without work is a mirage. At some point, you have to move from talking to doing, from planning to performing, from saying someday to saying today. Because every time you delay action, you deny progress. Every time you talk instead of work, you waste the window of opportunity that was meant to elevate you. You don't have to talk about how committed you are. Let your consistency show it. You don't have to promise loyalty. Let your actions prove it. You don't have to announce your character. Let your integrity define it. The most powerful people are not the ones who speak the loudest, the ones whose actions echo when their words are silent. Actions reveal authenticity. You can't fake consistency. You can't pretend effort. You can't disguise diligence. You can't hide faithfulness, because real work speaks. It shows up in the fruit you produce, not the phrases you repeat. Think about it. The tree doesn't talk about bearing fruit. It just does. The sun doesn't boast about rising. It simply shines. The ocean doesn't declare its power. It just moves. That's how you should be. Silent in intention, loud in execution. Sometimes The reason you're not respected isn't because people don't like you. It's because your actions don't match your words. Respect is earned, not requested. Trust is built, not demanded. Influence is created through evidence, not explanations. If you say you want peace, act like it. Feeding conflict. Stop responding to negativity. Stop revisiting old wounds. If you say you want success, act like it. Wake up early. Be disciplined. Stay consistent. If you say you want love, act like it. Be kind, patient, and forgiving. If you say you want growth, act like it. Learn, listen, evolve, and apply. You cannot speak your way into maturity. You must act your way into it. You cannot wish your way into purpose. You must walk your way into it. You cannot talk your way into destiny. You must commit to it daily through action, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's unseen, even when it's unappreciated. There will be times when your actions go unnoticed. Don't be discouraged. Silence doesn't mean insignificance. The seed grows underground long before anyone sees the fruit. Your quiet work is preparing a loud future. Your unseen effort is building a visible breakthrough. Don't talk about what you're building, build it. Don't announce every step, take it. Don't prove your worth. Show it through your excellence, your consistency, and your results. Because when action speaks, it silences doubt. People won't remember what you said about yourself. They'll remember what you did. They won't recall your intentions. They'll recall your impact. They won't quote your promises. They'll live with your results. The reason actions speak louder than words is because actions are permanent proof of invisible decisions. They are the manifestation of your discipline, the reflection of your priorities, and the evidence of your integrity. So stop saying you're waiting on the right time. The right time is now. Stop saying you'll start when it feels perfect. It never will. Stop saying you'll show up when people believe in you. Believe in yourself and move anyway. Because growth doesn't come to those who talk about it. It comes to those who work through it. Success doesn't come to those who announce their plans. It comes to those who execute them. Purpose doesn't come to those who wish for it. It comes to those who walk in it daily. When your actions align with your words, you create integrity. When your actions exceed your words, you create impact. And when your actions replace your words, you create legacy. The greatest sermons are not spoken, they're lived. The greatest lessons are not taught, they're shown. The greatest leaders are not the loudest, they're the most consistent. So let your actions speak. Let your progress be your proof. Let your growth be your argument. Let your peace be your statement. You don't have to talk about who you are when your life already shows it. And when it's all said and done, it's not what you promised, not what you planned, not what you preached that defines you. It's what you did. Move with purpose. Act with integrity. Work in silence. Let your results make the noise, because when you live it, you no longer have to say it. There is a victory that doesn't come from fighting with your fists, but from standing firm in your faith. There is a triumph that doesn't roar in chaos, whispers in peace. There is a strength that doesn't need to strike back, shout louder, or prove a point, because it already knows who it is. That strength is called peace. That victory is called discipline. That power is called restraint. You see, we've been conditioned to think that victory always comes through aggression, that you have to fight, argue, and defend to prove your worth. The greatest victories are not won in the arena of noise. They are won in the quiet resolve of the heart. They are won when you refuse to lower your character just to match someone else's chaos. Victory without violence is when you choose peace over pride, growth over grudges, and wisdom over war. It's when you walk away not because you're weak, because you've learned that not every battle deserves your energy. Some fights are meant to distract you, not develop you. Some conflicts are designed to pull you out of position, not push you into purpose. When you understand who you are, you don't have to prove it. You know your value. You don't have to argue for it. When you've made peace with your past, you don't have to fight to protect your future. You become unshakable, not because you can't be attacked, but because you refuse to react. That's what real victory looks like. It's not the absence of enemies, it's the presence of peace in the middle of their noise. It's not that people stop misunderstanding you, it's that their misunderstanding no longer moves you. It's not that life stops testing you. It's that you've learned how to stay calm in the storm. There are some people who will do everything they can to provoke you because your peace threatens them. Your silence confuses them. Your refusal to respond frustrates them. They want you to come down to their level, to fight on their terms, to match their energy. When you choose to remain still, when you choose not to react, you win without swinging a single blow. Victory without violence means learning that sometimes the best response is no response. Sometimes the loudest message is your silence. Sometimes the greatest revenge is your success. And sometimes the truest power is your ability to stay calm while others lose control. It takes strength to fight, but it takes greater strength to stay still. It takes courage to shout, but it takes divine confidence to whisper, "I'll let peace handle this." Anyone can throw a punch. Not everyone can hold their peace. Anyone can react, but not everyone can rise above. That's why peace is rare, because it requires maturity. It requires humility. It requires trust that you don't need to fight for what's already yours. When you live in peace, you're no longer moved by provocation. You stop wasting time trying to prove your worth to people who are blind to it. You stop responding to negativity, not because you don't notice it, but because you refuse to feed it. You start choosing your battles. And most of the time, you realize that silence wins them all. You can't live a victorious life while fighting every distraction that knocks on your door. You can't carry peace and carry pride at the same time. You have to decide what's more valuable, being right or being free. And when you choose freedom, you'll start walking away from things that once consumed you. You'll stop explaining yourself to people who don't listen. You'll stop defending your name to people who don't care. You'll stop engaging in wars that don't lead to peace. That's what victory without violence is. It's not passive, it's powerful. It's not weakness, it's wisdom. It's not retreat, it's realignment. You're not running away, you're rising above. You're not giving up, you're growing up. The greatest victories are spiritual, not physical. They happen within you before they happen around you. The moment you stop reacting to negativity, you've already won. The moment you choose forgiveness over resentment, you've already won. The moment you protect your peace instead of defending your pride, you've already won. There's a story behind every strong person. A story of battles fought in silence, storms weathered in patience, and wars won without shouting. Character is built. That's where emotional strength is formed. That's where spiritual authority grows, not in chaos, but in calm. Sometimes God doesn't need you to fight. He needs you to stand. He doesn't need you to argue. He needs you to trust. He doesn't need you to shout. He needs you to stay silent while he works behind the scenes. Because the battle isn't always yours to fight. Some victories belong to peace. Some battles are won through patience. Some storms are silenced by stillness. So when people talk about you, let them. When they mock you, ignore them. When they doubt you, prove them wrong by growing. Don't throw stones, build with them. Don't curse back, pray forward. Don't waste your voice defending yourself when your life will speak for you in time. Your peace is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of focus. You've got too much destiny to waste it on distractions. You've got too much vision to lose it in arguments. You've got too much purpose to drain it in pettiness. You're not here to win every fight. You're here to fulfill your calling. Winning without violence means learning to let time reveal the truth. It means letting character defend you instead of words. It means believing that peace will protect what pride would destroy. It means knowing that every time you choose calm over chaos, you're rising higher in wisdom and strength. The world may celebrate those who fight loudly, but heaven honors those who stand quietly. The world may clap for those who strike back, but destiny favors those who stay composed. The world may misunderstand your stillness, your future will reward it. So stop fighting battles that don't matter. Stop responding to people who are determined to misunderstand you. Stop defending yourself when your peace already proves your power. You don't need to throw punches. Your peace already hits harder. You don't need to raise your voice. Your silence already speaks louder. Let your calm be your confidence. Let your patience be your weapon. Your peace be your proof. Because when you master the art of stillness, you walk in a kind of strength that the world can't comprehend. You become untouchable, not because nothing happens to you, but because nothing can shake you. The next time someone tries to pull you into a fight, remind yourself, not every battle is meant to be fought. Some are meant to be walked away from. Some are meant to be left in peace. And in those moments, you'll realize that peace is not the absence of power. It's the demonstration of it. Because the true victor isn't the one who wins the argument. It's the one who keeps their peace. The true conqueror isn't the one who proves they're right. It's the one who stays righteous. The true warrior isn't the one who fights harder. It's the one who rests wiser. So lift your head high, walk in peace, and remember, you don't have to fight to prove you've won. Sometimes the fact that you didn't lose yourself in the battle is the victory.